When it comes to love, you know it makes life worth living. But a truth that's been vocal since day one is love unites. And at Xfinity, we understand love knows no limits. It just clicks. Our largest LGBTQ plus film and TV collection is home to stories that connect. Just say pride into your Xfinity voice remote and tune into all the universal truths that reflect how you love all year long.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 2207, Making Love Last by Learning to Love, by Dr. Lisa Firestone of PsychAlive.org. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us over the weekend. My name is Greg Audino, and I'm here with you every single day to read from different blogs that talk about how to improve relationships. And this time, I am armed with an article from PsychAlive.org, which we can always count on for terrific and reliable material. So let's get right to it as we optimize your life. Making Love Last by Learning to Love, by Dr. Lisa Firestone of PsychAlive.org. Look up the word love in any dictionary, and you'll find two separate definitions. The first, an abstract noun encapsulating a feeling of tenderness, passion, and warmth. The second, a verb defined by concrete actions such as giving affection or expressing tenderness and care. The trouble with these parallel definitions of love is that too often people are satisfied with and even preoccupied by the primary definition and never get around to the secondary one. Treating love as an entity or idea often leads to a fantasy of love. This fantasy connection, which binds people together in an imaginary fusion, even as they continue to mistreat each other, makes practical and personal adjustments to improve the relationship difficult. We often first experienced the discrepancy between a fantasy of love and the experience of love as children, at times when our parents, who claimed to love us, acted in ways that were not always loving, and even destructive. The more we see love as an ethereal concept, the more we lose sight of the specific behaviors that make love an active expression of our feelings for others. When we see love as a product of action, however, we can look into ourselves and our relationships with fresh eyes and examine how loving we truly are. If everyone you know was to make a list of the actions they find loving, these lists would most likely include similar qualities. Expressing affection, intimacy, and caring are universally considered loving behaviors. Similarly, there are specific actions that are recognized as going against loving feelings. By approaching ourselves and our relationships with this proactive, pro-action perspective, we can change the course of our relationships and develop into more loving individuals. How to be more loving. Number 1, look at what you do, not what you say. Take a step back and ask yourself, how do I actually treat my partner? Do my actions match my words? One helpful way to examine this question is to make a list of the behaviors and actions you would define as loving. Then ask yourself if these behaviors and actions match your own. What specific things can you do to be more loving? For example, if you say it's important to you to support your partner's independence, but act upset every time they want to hang out with their friends, you should alter your behavior to fit your beliefs. Number 2, stop withholding. Withholding is one of the biggest obstacles to becoming a more loving individual. Early on, children learn to withhold positive qualities, either as an indirect expression of anger or as a self-protective defense against being hurt. In either case, withholding often persists into adulthood, leaving us guarded and less vulnerable to love. Sadly, it results in hurting both people involved. These patterns of withholding often include feeling victimized or consumed by others. Holding back positive qualities, especially ones that your partner values, disrupts the loving feelings and intimacy in a relationship. For example, if you know it makes your partner happy to be affectionate, but you refuse to be affectionate in public, you hinder your partner's loving feeling toward you. Breaking your patterns of withholding is an immediate way to become a more loving individual. Number 3, lay down your arms. If you find yourself in a heated argument with your partner, the most loving thing you can do is unilaterally disarm. Drop your stake in winning the argument in the interest of improving your relationship. This does not mean that you should suddenly agree with everything your partner says and stop having an opinion. On the contrary, unilateral disarmament is a rational decision to take the high road, not overreact and lash out in the moment and choose to approach the problem with a cooler head. Even the most intense arguments can be diffused by saying something warm and understanding, expressing physical affection, and stressing that being close to the other person is more important to you than being right. Number 4, fire the coach in your head. All of us are plagued by a critical inner voice, which provides an inner dialogue of destructive thoughts toward ourselves and others. These voices not only do damage to our confidence and self-esteem, they also wreak havoc on our intimate relationships. Through negative coaching, our critical inner voice encourages our defenses and diminishes our trust in others. Sometimes these thoughts come in the form of self-attacks, i.e., you're such an idiot, no wonder she doesn't like you. Other times they attack the objects of our affection, i.e., he's so pathetic, why do you even like this creep? Another way the voice operates is by providing bad advice, i.e., you can't trust anyone, don't be too vulnerable or you will look like a fool. Listening to these voices and acting on their bad advice creates a greater fear of intimacy and puts distance between people in a relationship. Identifying specific things your critical inner voice says about you and your relationship is the first step toward breaking the pattern. Voice therapy, a process of verbalizing the negative point of view of the critical inner voice and then answering back to it with your real point of view, is an effective way to ensure that this negative coaching doesn't continue to interfere with your relationship. And number 5, develop yourself as an individual. Recent studies show that individual happiness and self-confidence are key factors in determining a successful relationship. All the pressure you may put on yourself to find the right partner doesn't amount to much if you're not right with yourself. The more you develop yourself as a strong, confident, non-defensive individual, the more likely you are to find happiness with another. Redefining love in terms of action can benefit an intimate relationship enormously. Following these suggestions will not only make you more loving, it will also make you more lovable. Sadly, many people are more comfortable with the idea of love than they are with real intimacy and relating. By seeing love as a product of action, we can break free from our fantasy of love and truly experience loving and being loved. You just listened to the post titled, Making Love Last by Learning to Love, by Dr. Lisa Firestone of PsychAlive.org, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
When it comes to love, you know it makes life worth living. But a truth that's been vocal since day one is love unites. And at Xfinity, we understand love knows no limits. It just clicks. Our largest LGBTQ+ film and TV collection is home to stories that connect. Just say pride into your Xfinity voice remote and tune into all the universal truths that reflect how you love all year long.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Families have a lot going on. Let Ollie help manage the mental load with new cognitive help supplements for everyone 4 and up, like delicious Lolly Focus Pops or Lolly Mellow Pops for kids. And for parents, try 3 new Brainy Chews to help you focus, chill out, or get energized. Find these cognitive health buddies for the whole fam at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thanks so much to Dr. Lisa for this post. Another great one from her. The ideas she's laid out here today are really critical in relationship building. And it's nice anytime we have an article that puts them at the forefront like this. Not only because of their value, but because indeed many of us do have a hard time gauging love as some ethereal feeling as opposed to through actions. But when you think about it, this love based on actions perspective can make one's understanding of love and relationship health a lot clearer. Sometimes we can get wrapped up in wondering if the feelings we have for someone are just right, if we're excited enough, if the person is kind enough, or likable enough, or sociable enough, or what have you. The list goes on. But instead, this way, we can ask ourselves how we show up for one another and what actions we regularly take to show love. It's a bit more measurable and therefore easier to define, isn't it? Something to consider as we wrap up for today, everybody. I hope your weekend is going well so far, and I thank you again for spending some of it with us. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you again tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.